Good morning. Well, happy Sunday to you. Hope this finds you doing well. We're talking to you this Sunday morning on a brand new, completely reconfigured network we spent all day yesterday doing. Seems to be a little quicker on the inside at least. And just trying to get all of my buttons flipped and knobs twisted and all of that. Well, happy Sunday. Hope everyone's doing well. Open Pagan Church, right here every Sunday that we can. I do miss a few. Try real hard not to. But there are some times the alarm goes off and body says, "You want to do what? You're not getting out of bed today." Well, there you go. And good afternoon to our Scottish folk out there. They're 6 hours ahead of us. Depending on what time of year it is, sometimes they're 5. Well, that'll mess with your head. Right. Our topic. Complacency and arrogance. I popped some links in the introduction area as to where I'm going to be pulling the definitions from. Now, I'll be, of course, as I do when I discuss topics, the reason I like to pull them up in the dictionary is because when you're looking at what? Interpretation? Semantics? People's personal thought of what different words mean. So generally what I do is I pull them up in the dictionary and I say, okay, nationally accepted. Webster Dictionary is global for the most part. It's not just America. So if you disagree with Webster's definition of a phrase or a word that we're discussing, send them an email. Don't tell me. Nothing I can do about it. Right. Sounded a little arrogant there, didn't it? What is complacency and arrogance? Well, I will say that people that have been in the pagan elders community for as long as I and quite a few others have, you become complacent. In spite of yourself, you become just a tad bit arrogant. Just a little bit arrogant. So the task of any pagan elder, seeing as how this is a pagan church, but it goes the same with any elder or leader of communities or government, doesn't it? Bosses of jobs. Complacency and arrogance is all around us at all times. But when you've been around in the pagan community, or any community for a long time, you become more or less respected as an elder of the community. Well, the object of the whole thing is to remain humble and always be open-minded to learning. Not everybody does everything the same way. My chosen path is that of shamanism. Well, yeah, you can take 100 shamans and put them in a circle, and 100 shamans will do 100 shamanic things 100 different ways. Same way with witches, druids. I've stood in circles of druids of about 20. Every one of them, though they were of the same grove, had 20 different ways of doing things. So if you become overly arrogant, you find yourself judging those people that are simply doing what they do the way they do it. You become complacent, which means self satisfaction, especially when accompanied by awareness of actual dangers or defenses. Here, read for yourself. Right. So the dictionary definition of complacency. Now, I kind of like number two. You become so arrogant that you become complacent. You become so arrogant that you just flat ass refuse to listen to anybody else, anything that anybody else is talking about. Thereby, you become a part of the instance of usually unaware or uninformed, wrapped up in your own self satisfaction. And I like the term uninformed self satisfaction. I really like that because it really does describe complacency. And then we talk about arrogance. Definition of arrogance? Known a few people of this in my time. Attitude of superiority manifested in an overbearing manner or in presumptuous claims or assumptions. Anybody see my raised eyebrow to that one? Not that I've ever known a few of those types of folk. Not that yours truly has ever become arrogant or complacent about a few things through the years. I'm hoping if lightning strikes I can put a sunroof right there. So what's one of the biggest lies that people say? I'm not complacent, I'm not arrogant, and I am not arrogantly complacent. Okay. I don't know of anybody that has ever not been guilty at some point in their lives of being complacent or arrogant or complacently arrogant or arrogantly complacent. I see it a lot in long established circles where the leaders and the founders of those circles become complacent and are arrogant in the fact that they feel like they know all there is to know. There's nothing else to learn. There's nothing else anyone can teach them. Well, I was looking out the window. Nice breeze blowing out there today. There's not any one of us that hasn't at some point in our lives experienced our own selves being arrogant or complacent. Either I'm shrinking or my chair is shrinking. One of the two. I'm not sure which. Well, yes. Debbie says she's been accused in the past of being arrogant because she doesn't play the games. And I've found as we get older, when we try to embark or impart on others in the community or just other people, period, we get accused of being arrogant. I know at my job, I have been accused of being arrogant many times. Well, okay. My my coffee cup's fighting back. Herein lies one of those very fine lines between knowledge, right? Knowledge, wisdom, experience, been there, done that, and arrogance. I there, I'm talking a hair's width difference between them. It's how it's approached. The biggest thing I tell the new guys that come in at work and the new people that come in to the pagan ideology, right? No matter how much you think you know, there's always somebody out there that's going to prove you dumb. Maybe not necessarily stupid, because stupid is knowing better and doing it anyway. Dumb is simply the lack of education, the lack of knowledge, the lack of training. Stupid can't be taught. Dumb, in most cases, can. With variables, of course. But as we get older, there's a misconception. There's a misconception that all people of age, over the age, what, 40s maybe? There's a misconception that all of us think we know it all. For some, that's true. And then when you come across somebody in their 20s and 30s that are very knowledgeable, very wise, they know what's going on around them. When they try to embark their wisdom or education upon someone else, they also are thought of as arrogant. Well, how can somebody that age know anything? And one of my biggest sayings is, especially with computers, right? As many of you know, I am a server network PC tech. And the moment that you say, there is absolutely no way a computer can do that, you'll come across a computer that proves to you it can. Okay, it shouldn't. There's no reason why it could, but it will. And people are the same way. The one real big thing I learned when we had the circle down south, with as many people that we had coming out at any given time, especially on the weekends, all of the different paths, the idealisms, the philosophies, and the thoughts, and the people that the people that have taken self-confidence to an all-time high of arrogance. Yeah, you can carry self-confidence to an all-time high of arrogance. But something I found with most people, and if you miss this, you may want to rewind and replay it. But one of the things that I have found with most arrogant people is they have a self-confidence issue to begin with. So when you meet those that are so busy trying to tell people what they know and force their thoughts and opinions on others, get to know them a little bit, those are the very people that have some of the deepest self-confidence issues of anyone else. Where if you have someone that has a high self-confidence, there's levels to everything, okay? But if you take someone that has good self-confidence, they're knowledgeable in what they're doing and they're comfortable with who and what they are, those people tend to come across more as a open-minded, okay, I get it type thing. They don't want to move into this pissing contest of, I know more than you do. Oh, well, you can't tell me anything. Well, that really does no good for no one. And some people might come back and say, well, Don, what the hell does this have to do with paganism? A lot. Especially as those of us in my generation are considered to be elders of the pagan community. And yet the very people that call us elders of the pagan community, when we try to share wisdom and ideas, they come back with, oh, you old codger, you don't know shit anyway. What are you talking about? That doesn't mean nothing to no one. It doesn't mean anything to anyone. Okay. You ask. I gave you my opinion based on experience, mind you. And then you tell me I'm wrong. Okay. Get on with your bad self. As Mother used to say growing up, go ahead, goat head. Go ahead, goat head. Goat head meaning hard head. Not that I'm ever hard-headed. Being comfortable in your own skin, being comfortable with your path, or the idea that you may not have a path. You may just simply be pagan. You may not even be pagan, but you might enjoy watching Open Pagan Church. Okay. You don't have to be pagan to watch these videos. All we ask is respect. If you don't agree, tell me why. And see, there's something that I found that helps me with when I start moving into this arrogant crapola, if you will. I'm okay being wrong. Show me why. Tell me why. Tell me, if I'm wrong, show me so I can learn. Because what makes me feel that I'm right is based on research, education, experience, a lot. But I work on a daily basis to not be arrogant. Complacency, that's a little harder for human beings to do. We all become complacent in our day-to-day life as we're working through things that we do. because we're creatures of habit. Human beings are creatures of habit when it comes to life itself. I mean, what do most of us do? We go to bed, whatever time you go to bed, at night, in the morning, middle of the day, whatever. But you go to bed, you get some rest, hopefully, a little bit, maybe, and you get up and you start your day. Well, to me, each time I go to bed and I wake up, that's a new day. In my mind, if I take a nap in the middle of the day, I'm still in that same day because it's usually 15, 20, 30 minutes, maybe an hour. So, a continuation of the same day after a good nap maybe can help one face things with fresher sight, fresher eyes, cleaner thought, right? What does that have to do with complacency? A lot. When you do a job, whether you're a homemaker, a caregiver, whether you work outside the house, whether you're a stay-at-home parent, that's kind of the same thing as a homemaker, I guess. Essentially, whether you work in the house or outside of the house, whether you actually go to a job, you work from home in a home office, or you take care of the house and the family and the kids, whatever. It is very easy to become complacent in your day-to-day responsibilities, your day-to-day job. Those who stay at home, that work at home or do things at home, it's very easy to become what I call clutter blind. That's a tongue twister. Very easy to become clutter blind. You don't see the wee little piles and everything laying everywhere because you look at it all day, every day, right? Well, a job that you go to is the same way. My complacency at work would be very easy to do if I didn't have the mindset of this, and this has to be done on a daily basis so that I do not become complacent at work. One of my keys for not becoming complacent is a phrase that was taught to me way early on, and that's keep it simple. The actual phrase is keep it simple, stupid, or KISS it, K-I-S-S. Keep it simple, stupid. Now what that means is in your day-to-day life, the things that you become complacent with, the rut that you fall into, you can break that rut, right? By keeping it simple, and noticing the world around you. At work, I clean my desk on a daily basis. It keeps my desk from getting piled ass high with paperwork and documentation and what have you. About once every couple of months or so, I go through my storage files on my computer. I clean out doubled files, doubled data, store what I'm not going to use anymore, put it in a folder called archives on the server. So these are things that I do to keep me from becoming complacent on a day-to-day basis. It keeps me from becoming so arrogant at work that I think I know everything about the entire infrastructure of my job, that no one can tell me anything. So how do you deal with complacency. I know um, on our live broadcast, we really don't have anybody watching on our live broadcast, and that's okay. People are busy. People have things to do. But those of you watching the pre-recorded broadcast later, which I know many of you do, put in the chat area some of the things you do on a daily basis to keep you from becoming complacent, keep you from becoming overly arrogant. Now, what did I just say? Overly arrogant. A little bit of arrogance, as I look over at the definition. A little bit of arrogance comes along with self-confidence. Like, for example, and I'll give you a little story real quick about yesterday. We got up yesterday morning with the intention of doing a commode repair on 2 toilets. We had to replace the float assembly and the flush flapper. So we picked up 2 kits and got up yesterday morning, ate breakfast, grabbed the tools, towel, we pail to catch the water from the toilet, and we broke out. I've done these before. They're relatively simple. So we attacked the parents' commode first. Get it done. They're asleep. They're in bed. Go ahead and get it done. Get it out of the way. My self-confidence let me know I knew what I was doing. I've done this before. It's not a problem. Yeah, okay, slight change of design, but I've done this. Been here. Clean the commode real good. Make sure I've got a good, clean working space. Got the towel down where it needs to be, so I don't get water all over the floor. There's always going to be a little. And of course, the wife is there helping, and we're in a little tiny bathroom, so there's not a whole lot of help you can be. Tore into it, demoed the old part, took it out, dropped it in a Walmart bag, tie it up because it's nasty, put it together. If I had been overly confident to the point of arrogance, well, let me back up, right? We had problems with the flapper, the part that seals the water. When you flush the commode, it's supposed to stay up until the water goes down. I had become a little bit arrogant and a little bit complacent in the job of doing this, that when that flapper didn't work, okay, no problem, try another flapper. Well, my haste to get the brand new flapper off, I busted it. Well, luckily we had a spare. Put the spare on there. Now, that was arrogant number 1. That was complacency number 1. Not paying attention to what I'm doing. Put the other flapper in, and it has a long plastic chain. Got it adjusted. Looks like it's working right. Got it adjusted where it needs to be. It came up. It went down. It filled up. And it's still bypassing. Why are you bypassing? I'm looking at it. Why the hell are you still bypassing water into the toilet bowl? I'm at this point almost got myself wound up because I'm thinking it's a bad flapper or a bad seal. Where did my mind go? I didn't keep it simple. I became arrogantly complacent in the fact that I didn't pay attention to what I was doing. The wife says, "Well, what about the chain? Could it be too long?" I reached down, I pulled the chain up, instant seal. Duh. Had I not been complacent in the job, I would have known to take the time to keep it simple to hang up the excess chain on the hanger. So this goes back to that complacently arrogant thing that when you become overconfident, you become overconfident in yourself to think you're not going to make a mistake. When you become complacent in your job, you're going to make mistakes. And of course, we got that one all done, everything cleaned up, commode seat back on, everything's ready and done. A couple of more flushes to make sure it's going to work right. Off to our bathroom we go to do the other one. Well, we had some other challenges there, different design, different style. But I had caught my snap by then because that slowed me down just a bit. We paid more attention to what we were doing. I did. Put things together. It was a completely different design. Hey, let's try it anyway. We ended up really liking the new design. But when I put it together, I took my time, made sure all the adjustments were correct. The chain was double looped where it needed to be, and everything was the way it should be. So there in of itself is a real good explanation of arrogance and complacency. Now, there's really not a whole lot more we can go on with this conversation. But think about it. Think about events and things that you do on a daily basis that might make you arrogant, complacent, or arrogantly complacent. Think about things that you may say to others that may make you come across as a know-it-all jackass. And how you say it. Think about this. If you see someone that you know is not doing things the way they're supposed to be doing it, and you want to offer an opinion, do you walk up and say, "You're doing that all wrong. You need to be doing it bang, 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 bang. I've been doing this for 30 years. You need to be doing it this way, otherwise it's not going to work"? How does that sound? Sounds like you're being an arrogant jackass. But if you see this person beating their head against a wall on this job and they're trying to figure it out, if you walk up and say, "You want a hand? I've done that before. You mind if I give you a couple of tips?" Most of the time they'll be like, "Yeah, what?" And you share your experience with them. And I always end it with, "It may not work, but it's worked for me in the past." You're coming across humble. You're coming across respectful of their intelligence. I don't ever want to assume anyone's intelligence. Boy, is that a thing that happens all the time on the internet and in person. People assume other people's intelligence or ignorance. But when you're communicating with people, it's how you come across. It's how you come across with what you're trying to explain to someone that makes all the difference in the world. Excuse me just a moment. My allergies have lost their mind today. So, we're going to kind of draw to a close, I think, here on this topic. But I would really like to see your thoughts and your opinions on this topic for sure. Because no two people do things exactly alike. And it is so very easy to become arrogantly complacent in our day-to-day lives. Remember when you're dealing with other people, and remember when you're doing a job or you're working on things or you're trying to get something accomplished. Remember, self-confidence is a good thing to a point. When you become arrogant and you become complacent, no one wants to listen to you. No one wants to hear anything you have to say. Well, we'll see you next week. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again here on Open Pagan Church. Have a great week. Don't become arrogant.